Uncle Jesse used to say, "Oh, Duke boy, Bo and Luke used to sneak into town by scaling the rooftops because folks in Hazard never look up."
Hey, Vern. Hello, my name is Major Mike Webb, and I'm running for Arlington Public School Board. The big issues on the table in the Arlington Public Schools in this election year appear to be reopening the schools in a pandemic. We've talked a lot about that. And the 150-year-old achievement gap that adversely affects the plurality of children of color who sit in the seats of what has been called one of the best school systems, public school systems in the Commonwealth, particularly the 26% of kids from Hispanic heritage. And certainly, this is one of the highest per pupil expenditure school districts in the state, if not the nation. But not even the past three superintendents have been able to make any progress in eliminating the achievement gap, while a novel coronavirus continues in an evolving science to baffle even our best scientists. And even if you just look at the school board, nobody apparently noticed that if you look at the proportions of people of color on the school board and the proportion of people in the schools, the race proportions are actually reversed. But in any election, you have a choice to even join in the throngs around Arlington clamoring to a rally cry to keep Mike Webb away from our schools. I really don't give a damn. Still, let me tell you what I bring to the table in this race regarding the achievement gap, which I believe is pretty unique myself. And you can take it as gospel or leave it for the trash. I really don't give a damn, because that's really not my department as a preacher's kid. And you know, back in the 1960s, Bill Cosby was a popular comedian who had successfully breached the color barrier, and he had a lot of jokes about kids, little black kids. And one was that if you ever see a stupid kid, just look at his parents. And he had a follow-up joke to that, which said, if you ever want to harm a kid, just talk wrong. And if you listen very carefully to that joke, you caught the nuanced misuse of English by that doctor of education. Well, my parents and even my grandmama were all public school teachers, and they say that the apple never falls far from the tree. And I can assure you that when your daddy is a pastor and he's sending you to some of the very best schools in the nation, you can expect to be volunteered to lead just about everything in a 1,500-member Black Baptist church, teaching daily vacation Bible school classes, and help out wherever you can in delivering an unexpurgated gospel through a great commission. And if you are an evangelical Christian pressing to spread the gospel, you probably know a little bit about educating someone, fully blessing them out about matters of faith. Professionally, my only experience with education was commanding a basic training company of 250 crazy homesick privates 4 years in a row, and also sometime doing summer session for West Point. And during my annual training, during my annual training time at Fort Leonard Wood as an Army reservist. And for 4 years in a row, I just happened to luck out and draw the marksmanship qualification test for these former civilians serving as an officer in charge over a live fire range with about 250 former civilians homesick, and most of whom knew nothing about firing a weapon, especially an assault rifle, while attempting to hit at least 22 of 40 automated pop-up targets at distances ranging from 50 to 200 meters. But 4 years in a row, even just as a reservist commander, my basic training company set the installation-wide record on first-time goes, or numbers of trainees who passed the first time and did not require a retest. I like to believe that had a little bit to do with my unique leadership style, or we can just say that a God in heaven simply likes me, and I had an extraordinary run of uncommon luck. Your choice. Am I intelligent? I'd like to believe that I have at least average intelligence. Looking around a pandemic, perhaps a little bit more than average intelligence, but the Army says that I possess at least a semi-photographic memory capable of providing an accurate recall of timeline events, according to the assessment and that clinical doctor talk. But unlike what appears to be just about every child of color in the Arlington public school system adversely affected by an achievement gap, first, I didn't have a closed school in a pandemic to prevent me from being administered the PSAT, qualify for scholarship awards. And when they started to announce commended students for successfully completing that test when I was in high school, that test was actually mandatory for all sophomores. And I mandatorily sat for that test with the mandatory attitude without much care or preparation. But since I was in the best high school in my entire county and probably all of New Jersey, had gone to probably the best high school, grammar school inside the entire state of New Jersey, I was not surprised to receive a commendation after completing that test, which, from what I understand, would actually qualify me today, right there, for a scholarship at the University of Alabama. Was I intelligent in high school? Well, I was intelligent enough to take the SAT, and I don't think that my daddy would have had it any other way, and get accepted to Haverford, Brown, Wake Forest University, UVA, William & Mary, most of which I applied as a white student, or at least not saying that I was black. And Washington & Lee, of course, the most competitive school even today in this entire state. Even today, Washington & Lee University is constantly attacked for a lack of diversity and an offensive name. When I arrived in the year that Ralph Northam actually graduated from BMI next door, the less competitive state school next door, I was one black student from among a total of 24 blacks. And in the year that Lisa Bernbach, the author of the Preppy Handbook, had published How to College, it described W&L as a school filled with rich Southern preppy assholes, and where minority representation was non-existent. You can take that as accurate or not. But at least I can say that in the year that I arrived in Lexington, it was the largest number of black freshmen the university had ever had in history. A university that actually wrote a letter to Reverend King after some students had invited him and told him not to come. And was it rough for me? Well, I can tell you that of a total of 24 black freshmen, only myself and 4 others actually graduated, which calculates to an attrition rate of about 80%, which I never even saw in any special operations military training. Now, Washington & Lee, at least we say, is that rich school filled with rich kids who discover in freshman orientation how poor they are, and where smart kids, no matter what color, find out exactly how dumb they actually are. But not to boast, I never at any time during my college years felt underprepared or out of place, nor even at one time even felt that I was being challenged in the most competitive college in the entire state. In fact, I would sit in on classes that I didn't even sign up for, and didn't try to get an audit grade or anything like that. I just kind of showed up, picked up more books in the bookstore than my dad probably wanted to have to pay for. And you can ask my old college professors and classmates in 4 years if they ever saw me even regularly attend a class. And that was at a school where 80% of black freshmen in my class failed to graduate. In my freshman year in college, I actually had a professor who required me to come to his office after finding out where I was to inform me that I could not expect to successfully pass his class by attending less than 1/3 of the time. And I told him right there to his face, just watch me, which did not exactly make me his favorite student, as you can imagine. Yet by the time that I became a senior, my reputation for non-attendance was so great that when I had a required class for my major in public policy and was the only one in the class, the former dean of freshmen, who later became the university president, can tell you that if I did not arrive at class, he would come to find me on that tiny campus, and tiny town. But I was fortunate and blessed, not because I was black, because just being black did not work for 80% of the other blacks in my class. And unlike other blacks in my class who actually managed to graduate, because of that semi-photographic memory that the Army says I have, unless I was required to submit some assignment that required my reading, I would take full advantage of the honor system that permitted us to schedule our own final exam before heading off to return home for break. And I would pull an all-nighter that night and literally read every reading assignment from a full semester the night before the comprehensive final exam and pass. But I would not recommend that for just any student, as 80% of the kids of color in my entering class at the best college in the Commonwealth of Virginia can attest, pun intended. But if anyone can tell Arlington Public Schools how to address an achievement gap, I believe that on that account, nobody else has that resume. And Arlington Democrats say if we want to eliminate the achievement gap, we have to let the sun shine in. I'm the son of a preacher man, and that's my 2 cents. The schools to which I have neither chick nor child did not attend, but only offer some assistance in what we can only call Christian love. Take it or leave it, because it really is not my damn problem. I won't lose any sleep because my colored kid ain't missing an education and an opportunity, and I don't give a damn. It's not even my department. Keep Mike Webb away from our schools, and thank you for your support. We're going to do a little experiment in natural selection and find out what happened to the dinosaurs. Just say yes to fossil fuels. Check out the big brains on Brett's. Now you know that dog don't hunt. This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb. End of the day, I really don't give a damn. It's not my department, honest. And y'all come back now. Here, honest.